This is WFYI News Now. It's Wednesday, March 4th, and I'm Sarah Neal-Estes. Here are today's Central Indiana and statewide stories. AES Indiana canceled the first of 3 open houses in Indianapolis Tuesday evening due to threats. The company planned the event for customers to connect with staff to ask questions, understand bills, learn about savings programs, and hear about its future plans. The company has faced scrutiny recently as costs continue to rise, and it announced it would be purchased by a large multinational investing group. There are 2 more open houses scheduled next week in Indianapolis. A conservative legal group is celebrating a settlement for a former Brownsburg teacher who resigned instead of using the preferred names and pronouns of transgender students. Former high school music teacher John Klug filed suit in federal court, alleging violations of the Civil Rights Act. The Alliance Defending Freedom represented Klug, and the school corporation said in a statement that it settled for financial reasons and believes it acted legally. A new law will change how Marion County judges are selected. Democrats argue it's taking power away from one of the state's largest minority communities. Ben Thorpe reports the bill's author says the most important parts of the measure are getting missed.
The new law removes the Marion County Bar Association and other Indianapolis legal groups from an existing committee that picks candidates for judges in Marion County. Democrat Reagan Hatcher represents Lake County, a region of the state with a high minority population that also has less control over judge selection, although that is not impacted by the bill.
I see how that looks. I have to imagine that you all see how that looks as well.
But bill author Danny Lopez says the legislation will help modernize the court.
This really wasn't about targeting Marion County. This was about taking the most important court in the state and making it as strong as we could possibly make it.
The new law took effect on the passage of the bill. I'm Ben Thorpe at the State House.
The Indiana Department of Transportation is equipping highway workers across the state with additional safety equipment to keep them safe in low-visibility conditions. Eddie Stewart reports.
The Guardian Angel devices emit flashing green lights to increase visibility of workers at night and during inclement weather. INDOT spokesperson Sydney Neerman says that studies show the green lights make workers 89% more visible to travelers. Neerman says there were over 1,500 injuries in Indiana roadwork zones in 2025.
Working in an active work zone can at times be very scary and uncomfortable. Equipping our highway workers with these is a very large step in the right direction.
The program is expected to cost around $30,000. I'm Eddie Stewart.
The Marion County Jail detained more than 1,000 immigrants for ICE in 2025, according to a new WFYI analysis. Zach Castle has more.
If the Marion County Sheriff's Office holds you for immigration enforcement, you're most likely to be a middle-aged Latino man. That's according to an analysis of data obtained from the office. The data shows about 9 in 10 people were from countries in Latin America, and the top countries of origin were Mexico, Guatemala, and Venezuela. Nearly all of people detained were men, and only 3 people were women. The average age was about 34 and a half years old. I'm Zach Castle in Indianapolis.
We have the full findings of that analysis at WFYI.org. Hamilton's Southeastern Schools is looking for a new leader. Superintendent Pat Mapes is stepping down. Eric Weddle has more.
In an email to families, Mapes says he will step down on April 13th. Mapes came out of retirement to lead the district 2 years ago. He now says the time is right to find a new challenge. During his short tenure, the district saw record highs in graduation and third-grade reading rates. But his time was also marked by tension. The administration faced an unfair labor practice complaint from the teachers' union and public outcry over a failed plan to partner with a charter school. The school board had recently extended Mapes' contract through mid-2028. Now, the board says it will share details on the search for a successor in the coming weeks. I'm Eric Weddle.
While data center debates continue across the state, many lawmakers' efforts to address community concerns stalled this legislative session. One measure that did pass may provide more financial benefit to cities. It requires data center companies to return up to 1% of their electricity savings to local governments to qualify for certain tax breaks. That bill now heads to the governor. And for our final story today, Indianapolis officials started work on a decade-long project meant to make streets safer for bikers, pedestrians, and drivers. Jeremy Rubin reports.
Members of the Vision Zero task force will make reports using data from fatal car crashes around the city, then recommend changes that can be made over the course of weeks or even years. Vision Zero Administrator Leandre Level Jr. says despite being just 3 months into a 10-year-long project, Vision Zero has made considerable headway.
We're programmed several pedestrian bridges over major roads on 46th Street, 86th Street. We just recently opened a pedestrian bridge over 96th Street for the Nickel Plate Trail.
Officials say an online dashboard is in the works to keep track of upcoming projects. The task force will release their first annual report at its meeting in May. I'm Jeremy Rubin.
That's all for this episode of WFYI News Now. Our podcast is produced by Zach Bundy, with support from the news team at WFYI and public media journalists across the state. Kendall Antron produced our music, and if you liked today's episode, remember to subscribe and share. And follow WFYI on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube to get the latest updates from our newsroom anytime. Thank you for listening. We'll see you tomorrow.